YouTube, good afternoon. Happy hump day. Okay, let's get right to it. I today had kind of a little bit of a double score. I found a few cars at Walmart, and then I found a few cars in my mailbox. So we'll start with the Walmart find. This is from the new Car Culture series. Today I was lucky, stumbled upon a freshly pegged case of the Car Culture Euro Speed. Now, a couple videos ago, I already cracked the Audi and the Alpha. So today, we got this awesome Porsche 993 GT2. It's a nice tooling. And this casting, relatively new casting from Hot Wheels, has already had a nice little run. It had an RLC release with a Gulf dress up on it. It had a Super Treasure Hunt release. Now it's making its at least second or third appearance here in the Car Culture. I think this is the second appearance of this casting, but it might be the third. The Porsche brand is the brand that has shown up the most in the Car Culture series. I'm fairly certain that it's shown up more than the Nissans, which would be second. This particular release has the Magnus Walker deco with the Urban Outlaw. Looks a lot like a Zamac. It's a really nice paint job on this car. It's just a metal flake silver. It is not a Zamac. You've got the Outlaw Tampo on the spoiler. You've got the Urban Outlaw deco on top. On the hood here, my camera won't show this, but it does have the Porsche crest right there on the hood. Very, very nice. Lensed headlights on this. One of the few castings that Hot Wheels does with plastic lensed headlights. Now, those are just part of the windscreen. That piece of plastic just rides its way up to the front of the car for the headlights. But really nice detail. Would have been nice to see a little bit more detail on the bumper. But other than that, it's pretty nice. You've got the brake light. So that's a cool car. These are probably my least favorite Hot Wheels Real Rider wheels. They have been used on just about every pop culture, car culture, even going back to the Heritage set. They were used a lot for that. But it's a cool casting. All right, next we have a BMW M1 Pro car. And this is the second time that we've seen this tooling in the Car Culture set. I like this one a lot better than the last one. This is actually a really sick casting. So you've got the black paint, you've got almost like a retro 1970s deco theme going on with the rainbow. I'm not a fan of these wheels either. These are probably, outside of the wheels that we just saw on the Porsche, the lamest Real Riders that, basically they took a mainline wheel and said, let's just do this wheel with a rubber tire on it. I just don't like it. But it's better than not having Real Rider tires. The casting and the deco is sick though. So like the Porsche, this one has the BMW logo up on the hood. Very nicely detailed. I know my camera sucks, so probably won't get a very good look at it, but for a Hot Wheels car, that is very nice. And I just love that retro looking graphic on the car. And the Hot Wheels flag or flame on the windscreen is also awesome. Although this one, oh, I see what the issue is. It looks a little off because it goes over the top of the windshield wiper, which is pretty awesome. This is just an awesome car. And while I'm not a huge fan of these wheels, I think that they probably look better on this car than any other car that they've been released on. And here's my favorite part of the car. Hats off to Mattel and Hot Wheels for making this happen. Very, very nice looking back end with the brake lights, your indicators, and your reverse lights, all very nicely detailed. So, of course, at a $5.50 price point, you would expect to see that, but it's nice that these new car culture cars are just smashing. They're just smashing it with detail. Ever since that Japan Historics 2 set, they've just been killing it. So here is the Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5. Really awesome car here too. This is also the second time that this car has shown up in the car culture. They've repeated many castings, and some castings have even shown up 3 times in car culture. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one that has shown up 4 times. But as an example, there's a Porsche that has shown up 3 times, and there's also the Mazda RX-3 has shown up 3 times. So I'd like to see them get away from all of the repeats. You know, Hot Wheels has an extremely extensive tooling catalog, so there shouldn't be any excuse for a repeat. Especially when there's a whole onslaught of castings like the R33, the R30, the Nissan Fairlady, all these other castings that would be awesome to see in a premium release with metal body, metal base, and rubber tires. Anyways, the last release of this car was pretty much murdered out, and it did have nice detail. That was back when the car culture, you were either getting racing graphics or headlight taillight detail. And that particular car didn't have racing graphics like this one does, so you actually did get the headlight and taillight detail. Now with this one, they've given you both. And touching again on the Real Riders, these wheels when they came out I didn't like at all, but they've actually grown on me, and I actually think they're really nice looking wheels now. But keep in mind, you know, this is 3 cars. 2 of the 3 I don't like the wheels, but it is very subjective. I very well could be in the minority with my opinion on the Real Riders, but just not a fan. I like the ones from, I like the wheels from the Vintage Racing Datsun. I like those type of wheels better. This car here is awesome though. It's got a really nice deco and just incredible detail. I have the other one right here. I'm going to take it out just to kind of compare. I actually think this one is detailed a lot better. They have the same wheels, although here's this one. You can see this one, the wheels are chromed. I do like this one better though, because it's more of a civilian deco, but the detailing on it's a lot better. I mean, if you look here at the tail lights, you get the reverse lights and you get the Mercedes badge and the model and trim badge, but where you really notice the difference is on the front. So we'll flip these cars around and show you the front. Now here's the side of this one. Project cars, this one is just black. Here's the front end of the new one. Do get nice headlight detail, but check out this front end. You get the full Mercedes grille, the headlights, and the indicators. So to me, this one for the win, although I still really do like that one a lot. Either way, you can't go wrong. 2 awesome cars to have in the collection. So those are the Walmart finds. Now for the Mercedes and the BMW, this one here and this one here, I did take 2 of each. So just to keep one loose and one on card. I can always use those. Use them as trade bait or you know, whatever. Pass them on to my son. All right, so now for mail, two cars, 2 different eBay purchases. This one was from May 31st, and so it's taken a full solid 2 weeks to show up. And it is a Kyosho from the Aston Martin collection. Here are the cars that were available in this release. Some really nice castings. I used to have this one here. Beautiful casting. Traded it away to my guy over in Texas, Paul Roselle. I'm sure he's enjoying that car. But mostly all late model Aston Martin cars. But we're going to take a look at this because this is one of the nicest looking Kyosho cars in my collection. I don't know what prompted me to go on and buy this car, but I did, and I don't regret it. It was available, like most Kyoshos, in 3 colors. Red, a black, and a British green. But you don't see a ton of these listed on eBay. This is the one I ended up purchasing right here, the red one. And that right there is a #1 stunner. Some of you younger millennial types may not recognize that term, but all of you folks around my age probably do. And you probably realize how cheesy that was to say that, but it's definitely a head turner of a car. Let's take it off of this base and get a good look at the car. I love Kyosho. This is one of the best brands to collect, period. Some of the nicest 1/64 scale die-cast cars. Really soft rubber tires. Those things grip the road. Unbelievably sticky tires. I love that. A lot of these premium cars nowadays are getting, they call it rubber tires, but it's like a really soft plastic, but it's like a plastic tire with tread, and they suck. That's not an issue with Kyosho. You get very nice, very soft, very sticky rubber tires. And look at these prototypical wheels on this car. Those are amazing. Almost hard to believe that this is a 1/64 scale casting. Such a classy, classic look. I apologize, I didn't mention the model on this. It's an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. I'm pretty sure that Hot Wheels has done this car. I think Matchbox might have too. And I think even Johnny Lightning might have done it. But whether or not any of those companies made this car, none of them made it this well. All lens detail, headlights, fog lights, the chrome bumpers, the side view mirrors, everything about it. All the chrome trim. Rocker panels. Here's your back end, lensed tail lights. What I'm really curious of is what year this car is, because if this is around a 67 or between 67 and 70, am I the only one who sees a Ford Mustang influence on this car? It's not the best rolling car. It does roll. Sometimes with Kyosho, you don't get cars that roll, because to get the accurate look, you almost have to sacrifice that in some cases. But if the car looks as great as this one does, it's a trade I'm willing to make. Just a beautiful car. Love the car. All right, so that's the first mail package from today. I think a lot of you folks may like this next one better. I'm not sure which one I like better. I'll have to wait and see what this next one looks like. This is another eBay deal. And it's a tooling that I already have, but I don't have this variation of it. And I actually, if you guys remember last, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I found that Camaro Super Treasure Hunt variation. I sold it for $50. This is the first car that I bought with that money. I still have the other $25 left. Haven't found anything yet, but this is the first part of that. So when you find a Super Treasure Hunt for $1, turn it into something awesome like this. Card is not in mint condition, but I couldn't care less because I am not a cardboard collector, and I typically don't crack stuff on camera. But in this case, we're going to crack it on camera. Very expensive car, by the way. These go between like 20 and 30, but usually closer to 30. And there's usually not more than one or two of these at a time listed on eBay. And this seems to be the most desirable. It came out in a few different colors. In fact, stand by just a second. I'm going to grab my other one. I think Revell is one of the forgotten brands, doing cars such as this 1963 Chevy Impala. Such a beautiful car. Here is the other one that I have. Now this one has the dragon graphics on it. It's still a sick casting. Really nice wheels. Very accurate car. It's very highly detailed. It has an opening hood with lens, headlights, and taillights. Now, for all of you out there that are thinking, there's no way I'm going to pay $25 for that, I'll go get the Johnny Lightning for $10. Trust me when I tell you, there's no comparison between the two castings. The Johnny Lightning casting is actually, quite frankly, an awful casting. This casting, however, is very, very well done. It's scale accurate. It's proportionately accurate. Let's take a look at this Civilian Deco 1996 Chevy Impala SS. It's just so much nicer than the Johnny. I know some of the Johnnies come with rubber tires. Most of them don't. These are all rubber tires. With these, you get lens, headlights, and tail lights. You don't get that goofy Johnny Lightning stance. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Love this casting. Alright, so here's your front end with like a smoked lens headlight. Opening hood if you want to see that big V8. It's very nicely detailed, but it's all black, so it's probably not going to show very good. The stance on this thing, so that's probably my biggest problem with the Johnny casting, is how narrow it is. Because the silhouette of the Johnny from this angle, it does look pretty good, but from every other angle, it looks off. With this thing here, I mean, this tooling is just on point. I mean, if Auto World were to take on this car, I would expect that casting to look pretty similar to this. In fact, the tooling itself I don't think would look a whole lot different, other than the fact that it would have a lot more detail. But you can see, just like the headlights, you have a really nice smoked lens tail light, but they are lensed. This has a license plate. Can't make out the state, but you've got that awesome Impala logo right above it, which the other one that I have also has that. It's tough to... I like the smoke tint windows on this too, and the color. I'm not sure which wheels I like better. I think I probably like these wheels better, but I do like the wheels on the other one. These ones here. One thing I would never do, though, is switch them out. Although, these bases are not spun to the casting. They're held on with Phillips screws, so wheel swaps is definitely something to consider. Man, that is just a gorgeous Impala. I love it. I like it so much more than this one. And because of that, and because now I have a nice civilian model in my collection, I don't have a need for this one. So I would be willing to trade or sell this car. If any of you are interested, find me on Instagram and we can talk. I also have the Revell Fast and Furious F-150 and the Revell Fast and Furious Mitsubishi Eclipse. All of those available for sale or for trade. And if you wonder what I'd want for them, I don't know. Watch a few of my videos and get an idea of what I like to collect, and then send me some pictures, because there's really nothing in particular. I'd be willing to take a look at old Greenlight stuff, any kind of Kyosho, Tomica Limited Vintage, Konami, Auto World, brands like that. Not interested in Hot Wheels. So, oh, heck of a day, heck of a day. This Kyosho Aston Martin's heavy. It's got to be one of the heavier Kyosho cars that I have. Yeah, I really miss Revell. I wish they'd come back around. I mean, you look at this, Kyosho's one of the most detailed brands out there in 1:64 scale. And this Revell Impala totally holds its own sitting next to the Kyosho. I mean, it looks like it belongs, you know. That's I really appreciate that type of detail. Now, with that said, there's a lot more detail they could have done. Like all the weather stripping around the glass and the door handles, stuff like that could be a little bit better detailed. But because everything else on the car is so proper, all of the sculpted detail is proper, the stance, the proportions, it just really looks good. Not to mention these awesome Walmart finds today. There's all the cars from the Toyota party. Gotta go throw those back in the carty. And once again, if any of you are interested in this, find me on IG, let me know. This one's not available, but this one is. This 63, I'm keeping that. Any collector premium 1:64 scale diecast, you have to have some kind of Revell in your collection. The problem is they're just so expensive. The cheap ones are $10 to $15. That is a gorgeous car. All right, I'm going to get some pictures up on Instagram, and I'm going to go have dinner with my family. Just wanted to share with you guys my diecast haulage for today. Feel free to comment below. If you have any questions, any statements you want to make, or any such thing, feel free. And thanks for always supporting the channel. I will holler at you all at the next video. Happy hunting.